Good morning, KMA Tribe. Grandmaster Castillo here, coming to you live from beautiful martial arts in Tampa, Florida. Today's message is "You suck at that," but I'll get to that in a moment. I want to start with something else, and it's just a gratitude. Gratitude, our fifth black belt superpower, is so powerful, and every single day I pick something to be grateful for. Now, listen, it's important to know that there's so many things to be grateful for every single day. I just pick something different every day, put it on my Facebook post. Today I'm grateful for it. I'm just choosing to focus on one of the many things I have to be grateful for. The important part to understand is that there's just as many things to not be grateful for, but I get to focus where I want. And I'm always going to focus in the direction of the gratitude, because we get more of what we focus on. That's the first black belt superpower, by the way. Focus, energy flows where focus goes. So be careful today what you focus on. And that was just kind of a side bonus, because today's message isn't that. It's "you suck at that." And really, here's what it means. I was teaching yesterday. I was on the floor. And we were talking about the law of the process. We were talking about discipline. And the point of the story was that a student had started to kind of compare themselves to somebody else. And they were unhappy that they could not do it as well as the more experienced student. Of course they couldn't. And I shared a very important lesson and principle that I want to share with you today, and that is that you have to be willing to be bad at something in order to ever become great at anything. Nothing really, really worth doing comes totally naturally or easily. And unfortunately, in some cases, we've kind of sent the message to a younger generation that it does. And that's just not true. When we first start something, we're going to suck at it. And now, don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean that we don't have natural proclivities. Chapter 7 of my book, Developing Your Superpowers, is about finding the unique superpowers uniquely within you that God gave you in order to equip and empower you to fulfill the mission, purpose, calling that he gave you in your life. So I'm not saying that there are not natural gifts and proclivities. Of course there are. But if it's something great you're trying to do, you will still suck at that, or at least not be the best that you can be at that when you first start out. And it's such an important part of the process, because it's through that struggle, it's through that learning, it's through that growth that eventually, if we're willing to be poor at something long enough, we can become great at that same thing. Now, by the way, that's a very basic level understanding of the lesson, and I'm going to take it one step further now. Let's go into an advanced level. In some cases, it can be the things, you can be doing things that you just love to do for no particular reason other than that they're new and exciting and you love to do them. And that's how martial arts was for me. I when I opened the school in October of 2000, I'd already been doing martial arts for over 20 years. And I had done it through my entire military career. Even as I moved to many, many bases around the world, I would always make sure to find a great martial arts school, at least one, and sometimes a couple that I was training at. And I would also, ironically, probably a foreshadowing of the future, I would very often also teach at the community center on the base or something like that. But the point of the story is I didn't actually know that this is what I was going to do, for my living. All the years later, I just knew that I loved doing martial arts, and I didn't want the fact that I moved around a lot to stop that. So I continued training. And on a similar related note, when I was with the 82nd Airborne Division, and I won a Army Green to Gold scholarship, and they sent me back here, actually, University of Tampa, for college. And when I had to declare a degree, at that point in time, I thought I was going to be a career officer. So I just did what I wanted to do because I loved it, not because of any natural, I hadn't thought that I wanted to be a philosophy teacher or something, but at any rate, I was a philosophy major. Those kinds of things sometimes are just awesome God incidences, because honestly, I use my philosophy degree every day in what I get to do as the master instructor of my Leadership Development Academy. That also happens to teach the most practical self-defense in the world. But the point of the story is that those things, it's true that I had to be willing to start at something I wasn't good at, and then over years got very good at it. and they weren't even very deliberate. And that was true both of philosophy and martial arts. I just did them because I loved them. But then, after I had been, after all of a sudden I went from being a martial artist to being a martial arts professional, and I was running a business, and I realized not too long into that I sucked at something again. I realized, I've had this school now for 23 years, so I don't suck that bad anymore. But I realized early on that, man, there's a lot of, things. Being a great martial artist doesn't make you a great teacher. Being a great teacher doesn't make you a great business owner. So then, this is the advanced level I want to share. I got deliberate about what was important next. What do I suck at that I need to start working on to accomplish what I want to accomplish next? I made sure that I continued the leadership training and development that I had began in my military career, because of course leadership is important to building a great organization. But I also realized other things. I had to become a marketer. I had to become I had to learn how to sell. I had to, learn about customer service and dealing with vendors and financial management and all these other aspects that go into running a successful business. The point of the story being that, and this is a normal process for me, and the one that I'm trying to share for you. This is the direction I want to go. This is the thing I want to be successful in. This is the purpose, calling, passion that I want to deliver. For whatever reason, there are some things that become important, some skill sets that become important and relevant to the journey. You have to go get those things. You can't ignore it. Now, of course, somebody out there heard, I was joking in my class, I say at 7th degree and above, you can read minds. Somebody out there heard, well, that's not necessarily true, because you can delegate the things that you're not great at. And that is true. But I think I'll close with a quote by the late, great Bruce Lee, for those of you who know who that was. Bruce said, make your strengths stronger and make your weaknesses cease to be liabilities. And that's important when you're working to become great at something, because even the things that you delegate, you cannot abdicate. You're still ultimately in control of everything in your organization, whatever that organization may be. Maybe a business, maybe a sports team, maybe a family, but it's your organization to lead. And the only choice is whether you will lead it well. Prepare to live, empower to lead. Make it a great day. I'm Shan Steve.